around here, even though it's a 5-minute drive.
Yeah.
The backyards, I mean, the view in our backyard is nicer. I like the park area. I don't know. And I don't like the idea of moving in with my dad's girlfriend.
Is it because you secretly want to stick your dick in her? Like a porno? Or is it?
So it's more, no.
Well, well, good. But it's something else, like, oh, great, this adult son is moving in with us, and my Hispanic children have jobs, and they can afford their shit, and what are you doing?
I don't want to be recorded if you're going to hammer it home.
Well, way to put a conditional on there.
Indefinitely, forever and ever, a recorded humiliation.
Well, okay, for the viewers, I've never met this woman. I have no idea who she is. I'm just being vulgar in general, and I don't mean to project any lines of horse shit onto our gracious guests on the phone, the Wolf of Winchester himself, Asa Winchester, everybody. Yes. All 30 people from now until the future that watch this stream, all 30 of them, forever and ever, because somebody believes in ever and ever, because someone has faith in the internet, someone believes it can't be broken, it will never be broken. They believe Egyptian technology just came from barbarians. I'd say I'm not trying to hammer that home. I'm just waiting until you cut me off. Yeah.
I also wanted to work on some art tonight, but I can't. I took something new that I needed. I can't find it, and I don't have the access to it.
Oh.
But I can draw. I can still draw. I was going to work on this portrait.
If I
laid down the background already on the canvas.
Oh.
Foam board.
Oh, okay, good. Well, at least you have something then that's artsy. But do you think that maybe I'm unproductive because you're productive, and now that you can't be productive, I am productive? Do you ever think that your success relies on my failure?
Well, I could elaborate and go into some grandiose notion of that, which I won't go into because I just don't feel the need to.
Didn't
I always thought that you would some derangement. Well, I won't get into it.
What?
I don't want to feed into it because it's recorded, and it would be
oh God.
a teach in myself.
We are.
I don't want to jump to my fate.
Well, I already have a recording of you saying shit. I have several hours of recording of you talking shit that's far, 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 far worse than any sort of shit talk you could lay on me. And it's not. It's not even.
It's not a big deal, and it's not interesting.
Oh,
So
okay.
I won't bring it up.
Okay, I won't force you to be interested on the spot. Well, even if you had to hang up, I would just play. I'd probably play streaming on my phone, and try to stream to people while I'm recording to YouTube also. And then I could link everyone to my YouTube channel while I'm streaming. And maybe I'd get more followers that way. Maybe I'd get more buyers that way. Maybe I'd get more appreciators that way. I don't know. I don't know, but it sounds reasonable. That's a good line of thinking. But
I'm not going to hang up.
you're not going to shut up? I'm not going to shut up.
You can interpret it that way, but I'm not going to hang up.
Oh, well, see, there you go. You just remember, this is being recorded. Uh-oh. Dropping F-bombs. That's the first rule of YouTube Fight Club. Don't drop an F-bomb or your video might be deleted in the future. Or anyone that's so pious as to not be willing to drop the F-bomb is just systemic racism, and they'll delete everyone that doesn't swear online. They'll say, oh yeah, that's a huge problem. Loosen the fuck up and say rotten shit.
Well, like I said, I thought you were going to kill me. So when you said my forced unproductivity and your giddiness.
Oh, right.
You're drawing right now.
For those who don't understand the context, I said, you know, he thought I was once going to kill him. And for whatever mythic reason or psychological reason or whatnot. And it turns out that I didn't kill him. And so he had a change of heart about me not killing him. So the joke is, what's the joke? The joke is that you didn't want to say anything because if you did say it, it would do what exactly? You tell me. You tell the audience.
I would be tempting my fate if I said it.
So you thought what you just said, which I already forgot, I guess, is that I would get upset because you thought I would kill you and that...
No, certain things would have to fall in place in order for it to unravel and unfold in which the way I envisioned it would.
Well, I was thinking about death today, and I was thinking, what would it be like if the last person you saw was someone that was murdering you? And what would it be like if that person was black? If you were in a nursing home and they were white, and they snuck in, they were going to avenge you for some wrongdoing you did in your past, and they were going to do it at the end of your life, but not on purpose. They would do it sooner if they thought they could get away with it. Right? What would it mean if you had to die? Who would you want to kill you? I think that's the question. I think that's the question for everyone. Who do you want to die around? Or if you had to be killed, who would you want to be the one that would kill you?
What a boring question. You'd think I want to answer a question like that, a ridiculous question like that. Just like my whole life has been like this series of oppressions and being depressed, and now I have to answer this kind of question. Oh, this thing feeds off this thing. You know, it's like the natural order of things. You know, animals feed off of each other, things steal each other's life forms. Now I get to choose. Imaginative speculation. Who would I want? I had the choice to kill me, to take my life force, to steal my life force.
Yeah, would you want it to be your enemy or would you want it to be your friend? Would you want it to be your wife? Would you want, who would you want to kill you, even if it wasn't meant maliciously, right? But it was required nonetheless. And I'm not saying anything by that. You're not tempting fate. I'm not threatening you, saying, "Hey, I should be the one to get that." I'm not doing any of that. I'm just asking you a philosophical question, a thoughtful question about who you, if you had to be killed by someone, who would you want to do the killing? And you go, boring. You're talking to a depressed dude over here that struggled through shit, so I don't know how to reason through a concept. And the topic, quite frankly, unnerves me, but I'll pay bloody goat's head being snipped. And I'll pay all sorts of crazy clowns and Vincent van Gogh naked. Wait, that's Darwin. Somebody was naked in your thing. Some dude. I thought it was Darwin. Wasn't that Darwin? Or was that's Van Gogh? Your Van Gogh was naked. Anyway, dude, you should probably look up museums in Switzerland. See what's around, and then you should probably figure out the airports. And yeah, that's what I think. And Sweden, for that matter. And LA and San Francisco, for that matter. And anyway, my whole point about all this was connecting flights get you to your destination the same as direct flights. And that, yeah, the cost of that ticket sounds so super cheap. You have me wanting to bite at the bit and go take myself a little quarantine vacation in another nation, gladly hanging out in some hotel in another nation for 14 days. And they have to cater to all of your food needs and your body needs and your needs. I don't know why I have this little circle here, but I really want to leave this circle right here for some reason. Anyway. And you know, the creative types, you're quite liberal in their thoughts. They're more chaotic and creative in their thinking. They don't necessarily adhere to regular rules. Anyway, did you leave me hanging? Oh, there you are. You didn't hang up. Just like you said, I'm not going to hang up. Because this isn't an interview, folks. This is cyanide. That's a David Bowie pun, by the way. Not a pun. A David Bowie association, by the way. I'm going back to my plow. With a rubber back to the bar. And I finally found where my future lies. It's beyond the yellow brick road. So goodbye, yellow brick road. I'm going back to the town. I'm getting back on my fat fucking plow. Back where the sky is real big. Back where corn sticks are thick. Finally reminds me of my spirit pound. My soul weighs 8 ounces. 10 ounces is enough pound. But 8 ounces is half of a cup. My soul weighs is half of a cup. Anyway, maybe see if you did more talking, I could do more focusing on the brushstroke here.
I just don't want to say anything.
Well, that is a pity, and it's too bad. Just because you're clamming up because it's being recorded. That's the only reason you're clamming up. Oh, should I have not dropped your name even? Just leave you as the anonymous voice.
I don't know. I've been feeling really self-conscious lately.
Ugh. You're gonna go there? Well, you don't want her, this amazing woman that you adore in Switzerland. You don't want her to hear your pleas and the things you think are amazing about her writing and her art. Because you're insecure. Well, you're financially secure, kind of. Not financially insecure. You're not bodily insecure. You're merely just saying that as a topic. Okay, fine. You're merely going to let me bring it up, and I'm merely going to suffer the consequences of sin.
I just don't like when dynamics shift and like I feel obligated to feel. I don't know. I'm kind of
Publicized.
really tired of scatterbrained. I can't think clearly.
Well, A, you're full of shit. B, I'll let you bow out, and that's fine. And
I'm feeling really self-conscious with the recording and the people listening, and I just feel really inadequate, and I don't feel smart, and I don't want to have a conversation, and it's already recorded that, making fun of me on a recording, so it's
okay. Ace is really pretty smart.
I feel like I just feel really defeated right now, and defeated.
Whatever, you're totally A, not defeated. B, you just looked up access to possible future. You're overly confident. You're obviously not, don't have a deficit in your thinking, so I don't think that you're not smart. Like you feel those things, okay, you have the right to feel those things, but I just think if all of that is coming to you because I told you I was going to record and then started recording, and you said you weren't going to hang up, and then you're gonna play the I'm too self-conscious game, like that's what you want to tell the world? You want to convey like, oh, here's somebody else that's.
And I really feel even though I don't have to, do such a thing,
Dude, you're feeling self-conscious.
I just feel really embarrassed, so I'm gonna hang on.
Oh, now you want to hang up.
Yeah, I'm really embarrassed right now, so.
Well, I still think you're full of shit. I don't think you are embarrassed. I think that you're playing like you're embarrassed, and I will allow you to hang up without holding a grudge against you.
No, well, truthfully, I am embarrassed. You could believe that I'm not embarrassed, but I am embarrassed.
Well, to be talking to me? Is that it? You're embarrassed to talk to me? You've already been recorded historically on this channel in different times, so.
Well, today is a different day. I'm feeling different today.
Yeah, I know. That's why I mean, like, why are you arbitrarily pulling that one out of your pocket?
I'm not arbitrarily pulling that out of my pocket. I just, some days I don't want to face myself. Some days I don't want to face anybody or anything. I want to face everything. I can't escape. And I just feel really self-conscious. And I don't want to put on a show.
Well, don't put on a show then.
I'm usually aware of all of my things.
Well, but okay, just what restrictions in topic do you want me to avoid? Anything having to do with women and relationships or social media? Do you want me to not talk about any of that? You want me to talk about? What don't you want me to talk about? Okay, well, I'm not going to hammer you or anything, you know. Feel that way, I'll deny it. You can re-up on the feeling, and maybe it'll come true, maybe it is true. But it wasn't true, and now you've made it true, and it's like stage fright by proxy. And you've already done it.
Well, I have no, I'm not feeling any, major sort of deal or anything. It's just, it's like,
I'm treating you like shit. Am I like your manager that barks at you a little bit now? Is that what you think?
I don't know, it's like, almost like I would start stuttering, knowing that I could, it's like
Dude, my fat fucking ass is showing at the camera. Okay, well, you are stuttering a little bit. It's like you're
overflowing everything right now. And I feel like I can't express myself, and the words aren't coming out, and I am stuttering a little bit.
How dare you? How dare you do the stutter thing?
Yeah, I feel so embarrassed. I gotta go.
All right. There we go. Well, I chased him out fast enough, guys. Take that for an interview. Take that for a non-interview. Take that. I think before we started, the topics were pretty thick and pretty personal to some extent. So I guess you didn't want to shallow up for the camera, shallow up the topic a little bit, if you know what I mean. Yeah, you know what I mean. Jesus H. Christ. I need to save some shadow work. So, should ghosts have shadows? That's the big question. That is the big question. Apparently, they're merely translucent, and translucent items cast a shadow because they're not fully transparent. That's right. I put on Discord again, but you guys probably wouldn't hear it. So what I'm going to do instead is put this chat room on, and I'm going to stream it. And so you guys will be able to hear that for a little while. Hopefully for some bit of enjoyment. Whoa. There we go. I guess the answer is, in fact, ghosts cast shadows. Thank you, Grace. Thank you very much. Again, acrylic is just this way. It's just liquid plastic. It's liquid rubber. It's a bubbling glob of something y'all dig. Something we all like. We all like globs of paint. We all like it. You can't be human and not like globs of plastic liquid that humanity didn't have for ages. And then magically, humanity got this stuff. And they love it, just like you love it. Oil painting. Oh, God, oil painting too. Eventually, this may have to migrate into a, what you call it, an oil painting. So right now, folks, I am merely, thanks for asking, thanks for not asking, I'm merely using acrylic slop gob paint. Slop gob this. So I was thinking, because I sell in the park, and I never do videos of me explaining my artwork like I do when I'm selling in a park. And you know, a lot of some of my more heady work is thought-provoking, meaning there's a mythical reason behind it, kind of a story of my life, a little allegory hidden in, and then sometimes it's not, but then it's mistaken as such, and then sometimes in the future, after a painting that is not, but is mistaken as such, one is projected onto it, kind of like eisegesis instead of exegesis, where you're projecting into the text. You can, in retrospect, presume that the coordination of elements is not only necessary and thought out, but that it's an echo of something subliminal, something in the subconscious. Yeah, see, that's the thing. So he doesn't guide the conversation too much. After he gets at his news, he doesn't mind talking, but I don't know if he guides things too much. But you know, not to a fault of his own. You know. What can a guy say after all? What is it that the man might say after he has burned multiple skulls, slightly, just ever so slightly, shrunken heads with candles? Vincent Price. Vincent Price arose from the dead. We're so happy that you came. Vincent Price, we got your head on a stick. It was put there by witches. Coming. Okay, so the thing about this white is it may already be too white. So I'm trying to water it down a little bit because some of this has to, there should be a retention of some of the contrast. My witch's stick. Anywho, this one I am calling Doxa Velco. At least, maybe that won't be the name, but that's imprinted in the carpet over here. Doxa Velco. And that is vampire for, I believe that you're welcome. In case you didn't know. In case people in the future did not know that Doxa Velco means, I believe you're welcome. Which ultimately, it doesn't really matter to the next generation because your minds have been distorted slightly and opened greatly. And there's been a demoralization of the code that is blamed on people demoralizing a society, as opposed to demoralization echoing the symptom of what is considered demoralization in art and production of media, or allowance to the obscene, right? So as people enter into more arts that are not representative of value systems that that the human organism supposedly, traditionally, or innately relates to is considered like justified in another way. Like artists have certain freedoms that that actors and comedians don't, and they also have certain restrictions that pop up from time to time. In terms of, I mean, not really. It's really not restrictions. It's more like a prohibition on sales in certain areas of certain topical ideas, sexualized art, especially in the puritanical-esque city in which I live, which I should be out selling art tomorrow. Of course not this one, ladies and gentlemen. Of course not. I'm not going to be able to finish this one tonight. No, sirree. No, sirree. No way. This particular painting is going to take me a little while, oddly enough. And I'm okay with it. Okay. Anyway, what else to say? Oh yeah, ghosts in the machine, ghosts in a painting, grand thumbs up, grand fuck you. Oh yes, no product placement with this Arizona. Product placement. Oh yeah. So I was going to, record me doing a live record, because I believe that is entirely legal. Not that, the idea of one's relationship to the law is very interesting and nuanced in terms of its inheritance or its consistency with what is the best worst case scenario of how it is you retract certain people's liberties and freedoms in order that you have a more morally cohesive society, right? So there was that one song, like where you're not the singer, like, I don't know if I'm part of the solution or part of the disease. I don't know the name of the song. I can't even get the melody off of my head. I'll riff on it. And anyway, the point is that by doing certain art forms, you're progenerating more of the mythos associated with the progeneration, meaning you're populating the next installment of a topic or category, I guess. And the same way horror authors were, the history of the modern novel is, I guess, fairly short. But then again, that shows, what I mean by modern. What exactly am I referring to by a novel? In this case, certainly there are answers to these questions. Certainly. Go. Okay, we'll try this. Let's see whether that one works. Cousin Mac. Because, yeah, what else can I say? Well, yeah, let me just open up that app and cheat a little bit. That could be fun, because I by myself can be boring to many people. Of course, maybe that's complete bullshit. I think it's probably complete bullshit. I'm going to send him, good old Asa, a picture. He might have been on already. Yeah, shit. I get other people writing to me. Okay, we're going to listen to this news
Education
item.
is one of the most important areas that Muslims have to address.
The back is
And
crazy.
while our final objective, is not just to become part of the system that we experience now, that we see, our final objective is to create our own Islamic systems, and not only create Islamic systems for Muslims, but to look at all the other people who are sharing this country with us as potential Muslims. And if we look at them as potential Muslims and feel that we have the obligation, which Allah has told us, to try to bring them into the same style of thinking, into the same way of behaving, into the same objectives that we have, then we have to have some way that we can communicate with them and some way we can work with them. And in that long-range process of making America Muslim, all of America Muslim, then we have to have some actual short-range goals. We have to have some way of dealing with them and know how we're going to deal with them and in which ways, and be very calculated about it, or else we will not accomplish our goals.
Intense. And what to think about that idea? Well, America affords the freedom of a religion, and Muslims are apparently very aggressive in trying to forward theirs, and apparently when the population in a certain area reaches a certain statistical amount in terms of like the Muslim population, then the actual law of the country becomes submissive to Sharia, and then the abuses or the protocol are they come along with, and so it's a scary notion that somebody's coming in with this idea that has huge power, right? Meaning the Islamic society compared to the society of the West, and not to like blow smoke up Islam's butt, but you know they did invent the zero, and that alone says something. Not kidding, but not entirely. Meaning the robustness of the human soul should be allowed certain liberties of thought and social behavior that are not a global conformity in idealism, like the freedom to not be something is a high value in the West. Not just who you associate with, but who you don't associate with. And I don't mean that in a racial context, although I believe it's probably good that I've mentioned that as well. But in terms of an ideologue, like this flat earther that I know, he said, well, he says, you're cool because he says, unlike most people who hold a fundamentally different view of the world, you don't judge me on it. You treat me the same as anyone else. You don't think I have like an error in my thinking or reasoning. And I said, well, I can conceive of being a flat earther. I can step behind the paradigm, meaning so much so that for 3 days I was a flat earther. And so I tried it on, I suited up, so to speak. And for those 3 days, I actually viewed the world as flat and introduced to hugely conspiratorial or like the bottom dropping out of knowledge sets, anything that's hearsay or otherly. And I realized that if it was required that the world view the globe as the globe, if there was a requirement of thought, then people can exclude the person, right? Kind of like not wearing masks or not being Muslim, right? You could be excluded if there was a domain of escape. In a world where the whole population is Muslim, that that outpaces even current Muslim deserters, if you will. And so it is interesting to listen to ideologues that are ideologues based in religion as not only holding the truth, but being obligatory of the practitioners to follow through with the twisted commands of that which is not uncultish. And yet, the style in which the religion is indoctrinated is not only musical, and unlike Mormons, it's not organized proselytizing of the religion. It just presumes that it will occur, or it'll come under force eventually. And so just that alone, to come under force and to come under a specific submission to God. Like a lot of religions, you're submitting to God. You're praying, you're acknowledging your beneathness. And in some cases, although I'm not familiar, the Bible may speak on submission. I mean, I know it speaks of slavery and male to female and female to male relationships, etc. But at the same time, it seems to me that any code that attempts to monetize the freedom that can come along with not only a different interpretation of God, but maybe like a regional accent to one's interpretation of God also. Like Muslims in the West, just like Mormons outside of Utah, have a different general code of behavior, ideology, or relationship to the religion because they're not around the center of it. So some of them wear it by name alone. In any case, the whole point is that I would be nerve-wracked if anyone was attempting to dominate the psychology of humanity because they believe it's the case, and part of believing it is that you make others believe it. You obligate others to believe it. That itself is unlike Christendom, where you may be found in some sort of guilt for not, but it's not, at least in modern society, required. And I guess, atheist groups and stuff really had made some good headway during the age of the internet so far that they weren't making beforehand. And so that's good that there's a skeptical voice out there to challenge people's, theology and philosophies, and to show the underpinnings of the Western secularism in the face of reluctance to adhere to religious or theological ideologies. In any case, I don't believe I'm saying anything too particularly exciting. Other than, I don't want to sound right-wing, because generally I find the idea of including Muslims in small numbers in the situation that I'm in is insightful. And there's certain attitudes of the men and certain attitudes of the women that are interesting. And there's certain presumptions where not all Muslims share that woman's sentiment, although that sentiment may be a required backdrop of Islam. But you still also have to leave up to the individual Islamists, if they would like to maintain adhering, or how they would adhere, or whether or not they could and would become overtly barbaric, right? Almost to say, it's weird to listen to that, because it's almost like in the feeding ground where belief in something is so scattered across political frames and knowledge frames in varied populations, that region becomes not the biggest topic at all, but more of that of, well, that which would allow for satire that is not a direct negation of one religious thought process or patterning. And I would fear that, after a certain amount of time and a certain amount of exposure, people would fall into being vulnerable to religious dogmas. And I say that believing wholeheartedly in other dimensional entities, and even the idea of their coming into the world, but also in certain cases interacting with the world, not just being pedestrian to it. I hope you like the way I use the word pedestrian there. I think I used it right. I think I used the word pedestrian right, like they just walk right on over with that there idea. Waka, 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 Gonzo. Oh, yeah. So it was the Yellow Brick Road song by Elton John that I'm listening to earlier today, that I found really fascinating also. Yeah, I better get that thing on, because that app is not only fun, it has some rewards to it, and it might grant me more exposure. So I'm going to turn that on as well. The reason I'm videotaping is because my time-lapse software said my trial period was over and I had to buy it. And I thought, you assholes, I thought this was all included in your demo version, because that's all I signed up for in the first place. And that there was going to be fewer restrictions on recording and not a whole inability to record. So that was disappointing. So I'm like, okay, I'll stream it to YouTube. And then I can download it and then condense it all as many hours as it takes, or whatever, right? Who's currently doing like 1 frame every 30 seconds to get this far, roughly, kind of. I mean, I did the pencil, but then I was doing the other part. Anyway, the whole point is, whatever. The whole point is whatever. Come on, man. Come on. Joe Biden's big come on. Listen to Michelle Obama's speech, and I actually really liked it. I was kind of moved by it. Other people were like, man, Barack's speech was pretty powerful. Really, the way he said we might be at the end of our democracy, that was really scary. And it did make me wonder of vulnerable populations, and then the intuition to flee one's ground, or at least attempt to figure out what the closest nearby grounds are for one's, presence in America. Because, like, if you took some small town in, let's say, Nebraska, and you populated it within, let's say, 3 years with, let's say you got a small town of 5,000, right? In Nebraska. So you might have a few black people, a few Chinese, and mostly white folk, I would imagine. And then you just imported like 5 million Chinese people to that town, or 5 million Muslims fairly immediately within 3 years or something like that to that town. you would basically, you couldn't use pejoratism to talk about the difference of your town, almost because the idea of what the town was would have totally changed. Different than if you pulled the leaf off of a tree and then said that the tree was no longer the tree that it was before. But this would be on a different, larger scale. Hey, yeah, okay, let me turn that on. See, I didn't want to leave the more movement I have of the brush, the more I want to stick with it, and I don't want to reach and grab the phone. I'm going to have to anyway. Thanks for listening, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks for listening. Now, what is Mike on about in his little mind-numbing ramble? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I don't know what to tell you. I'm not looking at the comments yet. I'm not turning around. As far as I know, there are no comments. There are no viewers. There never was, because you're all ghosts within my mind, within my head, within a phantom, a dream. That's an ode to some comedian making fun of Charles Manson. Man, because you're just all a ghost of a phantom. It was feared in my mind, in my head, in my dreams. Anyway, how entertaining am I tonight? Once again, ladies and gentlemen, this video is more for visual future use than it is for me to attempt to entertain you all. Because of that, I am going to grab the damn phone and sit down for a second. Oh, yeah. Go and see. Nope, one person looking. Yo, whoever you are. The interdimensional power of painting sometimes. Okay, let's turn this Instagram on. I still don't get it. I keep getting these things. That's not it. So we are going to go to this other amazing, dazzling, wazzling app. Ooh. Voting. And I'll go back, and then I'll go to new. Okay. We'll go here. And then we're just going to go live. Look at that. And we're going to hit start. And Presto Alimundo. Oh, God. Maybe this is not a good idea, because we gotta change some of the setups every 3 minutes. Okay, anyway, I gotta analyze how I've laid down this white a little bit. All right. Oh, yeah, it definitely needs to be a warm white and not a cool white. And it looks like a combo of the two of them. And a not quite finished combo of the two of them. That's right. They're looking for you to entertain. All right. Viewers want entertainment. They don't want serious dialogue. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, sorry, ladies and gentlemen. I guess I'll have to periodically apologize for feeling dumpy about doing this, because who knows actually how long I'm going to last. I feel like I'm already starting to crash a little bit, but mostly it's due to a pain in my back and a general sense of unwillingness. And I shouldn't say the general sense of unwillingness is ever really profound. I mean, it is of itself profound, but it's not prevalent in my emotions. You know, generally have a pretty good work ethic, which is also was a proposed name for this painting. It's going to be work ethic. All I know is I think maybe my persona makes my painting value be less attractive. But in some cases, I imagine it's more attractive. And that's just because of my forthrightness. My take no shit attitude. Okay, here we go. We're still going. It's streaming on. And I got tape over the camera, or over like half of the camera. It's just absurd. Okay, yeah, this is definitely a bluish white, and I should have gone more yellow already, but just want to make certain most of the edges are covered there. Because, to be honest, I didn't overly think this. I mean, I did think a little bit about the color, but I didn't think about all aspects of the color. Meaning, sometimes I have a painting and I can see the color in my mind, and I did flash the basic colors of this in my mind. And the cool thing about painting as opposed to digital is that you have to clean up your mess with real paint. Or you just have to lay it down more correctly the first time, showing the talent of the painter. And I was going to, what was I going to do? I was going to do something. I was going to paint oil on top of this. And I go crazy. But this feels more at this stage like color in the dots, color by numbers. But not really, not entirely. I don't know, let me just talk like a politician about shit. Doesn't matter about anything. Let me just say a bunch of shit that I don't really think about or don't believe and don't think anyone should be believing or thinking about. Whichever I believe that they should be, I may talk on it. Otherwise, you'll have to use your telekinesis, kids. Get inside of my numbskull brain and pull out all of its artifacts. Yes, yes indeed. Me numbskull brain. That's right, kids. Oh, shut it. Oh, damn. See, maybe I did that one backwards. Not really, though. There's 5 candles. We'll mix a little bit of gold back in. Anyway, I don't want to sound like Bob Ross talking about his painting while he's doing the painting. Talk about something else. The painting is what the painting is, Oh. Ew. Okay, so maybe we'll even do a little bit more of that before maybe we play some Can't Touch This. Can't touch this. Can't touch this. But plenty of people can touch this. And I'm sure when I'm done painting it, people will come by and rub their hands all over it. And I'm certain there's other painters that paint at least as technical as the guy that I ripped the technique off of. Todd Skjor, thank you very much, Todd. You win the prize of being my influence on something that is identical to this actual painting technique. Okay, get that back in up there. I don't know, I've been really reluctant on this painting because certain aspects of the lighting are they're uncomfortable to conceive in my head, and so I try to find reference in the world, but my mind has not been on trying to track down, right, to specifically like see something that is specific to solving a question and how to render this this piece, and that becomes a weird thing, a weird thought process. Oh yeah, tell us more, Dosh. You're so fucking exciting. Okay, let me think. Sheesh and shit gabs. Yeah, there's streaming services, and maybe what I'll do is instead of me streaming myself, I will just turn on their stream. But then I can just listen to anything, right? Like, why listen to this? Oh. Oh, this is killing me. You guys have been great. I've been doing the ceiling the whole time. Right, that's where I'm at on that. Jesus, no wonder all the viewers dropped. No wonder anyone didn't comment. What am I doing? What am I thinking? I didn't record the right thing. Doing a speed drawing. This is just lame as shit. Because it's lame as shit, I'm already gonna hang up because we've been on for an hour. This has taken me an hour of my life. I will never get back. That being said, you know that I'm still single, ladies. You know that I'm still here to chat it up with anybody on YouTube. And I don't know how I'm perceived anymore. I don't have a clue. I don't have a gauge. I'm certainly not popular. Oh, what do we got here? Oh, has joined. That is interesting. Well, I was going to drop out of that, so we're going to do that first up. And end stream, yes. So that allowed me one viewer there, and I had at least one viewer here. Namaste, ladies and gentlemen. Namaste. Boy. And feel free to comment below about my art school. Like everyone, has to show up in person though, to Mike's art school to get the real lessons. Just think about it, right? Think about it. Think about sending me several $1,000s for a 4-day education process on how to go from start to finish in a painting. But those 4 days will say separated, and accordingly, they will be occurring once every 2 weeks or a week and a half. 4 days, each day separated by a week and a half. All right. And you can pay me via telekinesis or Venmo.